Hey guys, it's your girl Kabachi, aka Chelsea, and I'm here eating as usual. No, actually, I need to put this down. But first, one more bite. It's chop suey, y'all. Y'all know I love me some good chop suey. Anyway, so yes, this video is the top 5 reasons why I love working at a Hagwon. As you guys may or may not know, I'm living here in Korea and I'm an English teacher, but I teach at a Hagwon, which is considered a private English school or English academy. It's not public school, meaning the government does not run it, and it's usually individually owned by whomever who wants to run one, and some run theirs like businesses, others actually run theirs like a legitimized school. So there are pros and cons to choosing to work at a Hagwon, but I'm gonna give you, from my perspective and from my experiences thus far, my top 5 reasons why I love working at a Hagwon. Reason number 1, hours. The hours that you work at a Hagwon typically are the afternoon hours, so they're gonna be from afternoon to late evening. Now this is because after the students finish their schooling at their regular public school, which is usually from 8 o'clock in the morning to around 4:30, they get off. Their parents send them to their after-school academies, which are their Hagwons, their English Hagwons, math, music, whatever specific type of private academy their parents wants to enroll them in, that's where they'll send them. So our day usually starts around 1:30 or 2 o'clock, which means if you are not a morning person, then Hagwons are totally for you, because I wake up at around 11 o'clock or 12 noon and make me some brunch or go out and get brunch, and then I will come back to my apartment, get ready for work, and actually go to work, because I only live about a 7-minute walk away from my Hagwon, so I just walk to work every day. Usually, typically, I do make the most out of my mornings because, hey, since I don't have to go into work till later in the evening, I do use my morning hours to run errands, take care of things that I need to get done that I wouldn't be able to do so in the afternoons, obviously, because I'd be at work. I can make myself a great breakfast, take my time, go and I work out. I like to go for morning runs, meet up with friends to have brunch, and it's a really great schedule for me because I'm a night animal. You know me, you guys. I like to party at night. I like to go out. I like to just thrive in the night. So I'm a night person. That's right. So actually, the hours work swell for me personally. This is just my lifestyle. So I really, 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 really am thankful that I was able to get a Hagwon job that gave me these hours. Number 2. The curriculum. So typically at a Hagwon, your curriculum is going to, of course, vary depending on what Hagwon Academy you teach for. But what I've noticed is that they provide you with all of the materials that you're going to need in order to teach the students. So unlike public schools where you might have to constantly keep making lesson plans every single week or every single day for the amount of classes that you're going to be teaching, and depending on what schools they place you at, because sometimes I've heard that you will have 2 public schools that you have to go and teach at, one in the morning-ish time and the other one is like the early afternoon that you'll go and teach at, so you'll have to make separate sets of lesson plans. But for me, here at my Hagwon, we have these set books that the students basically work out of, and it's kind of paired with their level, and as they test out of that level they move up into the next book. So really all I have to do is just create additional resources. So that makes it really simple for me to always be organized, of course, and to keep on track with what the students are learning, different topics and subjects that we're at. And of course, I was prepared to make lesson plans left and right all day long before I came here. I thought I was going to be just writing lesson plans all the time, but that's not the case, which actually turned out to be a positive because it saves me so much time. And I actually feel like it's better because I'm able to be more interactive and creative with the kids. because they have their set material, but then I'm also able to like add in additional games that we play in class, and just other extracurricular type like projects and stuff. It's on us, it's our job as English teachers to keep the students engaged and excited about learning English, because that's how they're gonna learn, you know, that's how they're gonna stay interested in wanting to keep improving in their English. Number 3. So, I don't have a co-teacher. Yep, that's right, you heard me. I do not have a co-teacher. And to some of you, that might be petrifying, because you come here and you're like, how am I going to communicate with these students? If they don't have, you know, if you have a low-level age group of students and they are just starting out with their English, then they're not going to know, you know, a lot of English to communicate with you just on a basic level. And you're wondering how you're going to effectively teach them when, you know, you might not know Korean well enough yet to communicate with them, and then they can't communicate back with you, and then everyone is just sitting in class staring at each other like, you know, deer caught in headlights. But no, it's not the case for me here. I don't have a co-teacher, and I actually like that. I'm an independent person. I like to, you know, organize and run my classes pretty much by myself. Of course, if I need assistance and need help, then I do have the other faculty that works here at my Hagwon to help and assist me. And then of course my boss, he steps in whenever I need assistance, or if he, you know, notices that I'm having problems with something or a student and I need to better communicate with that student about an issue and whatnot, then yeah, he'll step in. But unlike public school, where you are assigned like a permanent co-teacher that you are teaching with throughout the whole year, and sometimes that might be positive if you end up forming a good relationship with them, and your co-teacher, you know, lets you do your thing and you let her do her thing, and that works out. But it can be a negative experience, because I've heard that some co-teachers at public schools, they pretty much run the class. Like, they do everything, and then you're just there as the native English teacher for reference. You know, like if a student is struggling with how to actually pronounce a word in English properly, then they'll turn to you for the pronunciation factor. But other than that, you're just a figure in the classroom, a model figure of English, and that's it. So that's kind of a bummer when you come into your job expecting to actually be needed and to be useful and to actually do your job, and you're just there as kind of like reference. But yeah, here for me, I run my own classes. I completely, you know, am just left to it, and my classes are only 30-minute sections each for like an hour of the same level. So I'll have 2 30-minute hour classes with like second grader age students, say for instance, and yeah, I'll teach those 2 classes back to back, and I just have a blast. I have fun with my students. I love my students. They always present me with new challenges every day, good, in a good way, of course. And yeah, and of course, if I need, like I said, any help, then next door is the computer teacher, and she's Korean and she's a friend of mine, so I just go over there and tell her, it's like, hey, I have this one student that's, you know, giving me some headache. Can you come over here and scold him in Korean for me? And if she's like, I got you, girl. Number 4. My Hagwon is not that big. I actually teach at a quite small Hagwon in my city, but it's a really good Hagwon. My Hagwon has been here since, God, the early 2000s, maybe like late 90s, early 2000s, and it's quite reputable in my city. Actually, there's side anecdotal story for you. There were a couple of Hagwons in my city that closed down a few weeks ago, and all their students ended up coming to my Hagwon, and their parents enrolled them into my Hagwon because, of course, it's best in the city, and they, you know, needed a new place to put their children in, and so yay, we got all of the new kids, which works out for us because, you know, extra, you know, students means more income, more money, means I still have a job, it means my boss is happy, it just means so many great things for us. But yeah, you know, of course, it's always sad when you hear of another place that didn't do so well and that they're tanking and going under, because of course the teachers that work at that Hagwon are out of a job. And you know, that's one kind of sort of negative thing about Hagwons, of course, is that if you end up at a really shitty one that isn't doing so well, then they can close down at any moment and you will be without a job. So it's really important for you to do your diligence and really vet and do your research on your Hagwon before you accept a position or a job, and see how reputable it is. And my school is pretty much on the smaller scale size, which means that I actually get to see more of the students, interact with more of the students on a regular basis. I've really formed like relationships with the students, like just rapport, like good rapport with my students, because I'm really involved and really active with them. And I like that. I would prefer this as opposed to being at a really large academy, a really large Hagwon, where everything is like clockwork and you don't really get to form those like genuine relationships with your students. Because I think about like I want to leave lasting impressions and memories on my students, because once either I've moved on or they've grown up and moved on to the next phase in their young adolescent lives, I want them to look back and think, wow, I had a really cool English teacher when I was in middle school and at my Hagwon, and Chelsea teacher was really awesome and I really learned a lot of English and I remember all the fun things we got to do in her class. So that really makes me happy, and that's one aspect that I do like about being at a kind of a smaller Hagwon. And then two, my boss gives us teachers a lot of goodies, like just additional stuff. He'll come in with like snacks and with like drinks, lattes, and just, hey, I bought you guys some lattes, here you go. So it feels kind of like I'm working at like a magazine like place in New York where it's like all fancy and posh, and it's like people come in with like the giant box of like croissants and like the fancy like pumpkin spice lattes, and they're like, hey guys, what's up, here you go, lattes and croissants. Oh my god, what was that accent? I don't even know. But yeah, and like we buy each other stuff, like me and my co-workers, like yesterday I bought 24 boxes of like Krispy Kreme donuts, and I just bought it and put it into our break room. I was like, hey guys, this is for you because I love you. And then everybody's like, oh, Jessie, say hey y'all. So yeah, it's just really fun things like that. And I feel like we wouldn't really get those type of experiences necessarily at like a really large school. So, and my fifth and last thing that I love about teaching at a Hagwon is, drumroll please, the money. Yeah. Working at a Hagwon is substantially higher than you would get starting off working at a public school. Now, of course, that can be increased based upon your additional qualifications. If you're already coming with a MAT degree, your master's in teaching license, additional certifications such as your TEFL certification, and any other type of real world experience you have if you've been already teaching in, say, Vietnam or China or some other country, and then you move here to teach and you already have in-class teaching experience. All of those are factors that will help you negotiate with your potential employer working at a Hagwon about your pay. I like my pay. My pay is really well. It allows me to live here comfortably, and also my housing is provided for by my employer, so I don't have to pay any rent, which is wonderful, because basically when I get my paycheck, that is all mine, baby. All mine. Of course, you pay like the smaller things like internet and building maintenance fee for your apartment. The most expensive bill I've ever gotten thus far since being here was back when it was wintertime and I was blasting that heat all the time in my apartment. The Undul like heating system in Korea, which is the floor heating, it heats up your floors in your apartment. I had that on like inferno all the time, because your girl get cold and I don't be playing. I ain't trying to catch no cold, no pneumonia, no flu, no nothing. So my bill was like 80,000 won at one point, which is equivalent to like $79 USD. So that was for a whole month. So like, I'm just saying, like, I can get used real quick to these low bills over here. And that allows me to you know, save. Of course, if you are coming here with the intentions of saving money diligently, then it definitely helps working at a Hagwon that gives you good pay, because you can save your money. You have, at the end of the year, your severance pay, which is like getting paid twice, like in the same month, for the amount that you usually get. So it's like getting 2 paychecks in 1 month because it's the end of the year, and it's like your bonus on top of it, and then your severance pay. And if you're flying back to your country, like if you're not going to be staying for another contract, then you get your return air flight pay, I think, as well. So, and of course, all of this, you know, is per my experience, because you guys are going to have, you know, different experiences once you get here and you're teaching and working. And I don't want you to take everything that I say like literally and say like, oh, well, she said that it's like this and it wasn't like that for me. Of course not, because everybody's different. Everybody gonna work for a different employer. But I really genuinely do hope that you guys do get, you know, for those of you who are interested in coming here teaching and might, you know, be open to working at Hagwons, I hope that you generally do get placed at a reputable, legitimate Hagwon, because I don't like it when I hear other English teachers here that have such shitty experiences and horror stories that they share with each other, because it really makes me sad, because I'm like, you put so many eggs in one basket to move your life to a different country, and, you know, you want the best out of that. You want the best out of that experience. And when you don't have that, you know, amazing, you know, like time of my life year here for your first, you know, contract, it just puts such a sour taste in your mouth. And then that's when teachers get bitter, and that's when a lot of additional problems occur between the English teachers here and the Korean, you know, teachers and workers, or your boss or your employer, or whatever the case may be. So I really don't want that for anyone. And I'm a positive person. I like to stay encouraged. I like to stay good vibes, good energies, because, you know, I feel like if that's what we put out into the universe, then that's what we'll get back in. So no matter what, always come with an open mind, positive attitude, do your best. Say, like, put in effort. Just show your employers that, you know, you're serious, you're here, you want to work, you want to teach, you want to do a good job, and you also want to enjoy the experience. And then, of course, you know, that'll be reciprocated back to you. All right, guys, this has been my top 5 things that I love about teaching at a Hagwon in Korea. I will see ya later. Annyeong. I'm so rude, y'all. I got food in my mouth and I'm talking. I'm sorry. Let me not be rude. Okay.